People praised his pastries, yet no one questioned why customers kept returning with stomach pain until one quiet man decided to observe him closely, and what he discovered shocked the entire community. Before Kofi became the owner of Berekuso Bread House, he was only a bakery apprentice under the famous Auntie Efua, a woman known across 3 villages for her golden bread. Kofi worked under her for 5 years, waking before sunrise and sleeping after midnight. But he never learned the true art of baking. Auntie Efua trusted nobody with her secret recipe, while other apprentices were allowed to mix dough, shape loaves, and test oven heat. Kofi was always pushed aside. He cleaned trays, he swept the floor, he delivered bread around the community, but real baking, never. Each time he asked to learn, Auntie Efua shouted,
"You are not ready! My bread is my pride. If I allow you, you will spoil everything."
Meanwhile, new apprentices, boys who came years after him, were already baking small buns and selling them on the roadside for extra money. They bought new slippers, new shirts, and even small phones. But Kofi had nothing. His father had died 3 years earlier. His younger sisters attended school irregularly because of unpaid fees. His mother sold roasted plantain by the roadside, sometimes in the rain, sometimes under harsh sun. At night, Kofi carried the smell of smoke home because he helped her roast before going to the bakery. One day, during Harmattan season, Auntie Efua fell seriously ill. She closed the bakery for 2 months and told everyone, "Go home. I will call you when I recover." No salary, no support, no promise. Life became extremely hard for Kofi. His mother's small plantain business barely fed them. Some nights they drank only gari soaked in water. He sat outside one night, staring at the moon, asking himself, did I waste 5 years? What if she never teaches me? A neighbor, an elderly man who watched him grow up, said, "Kofi, no one becomes great by waiting forever. If you know even a little, start small." Great bakers began with 1 bowl, 1 fire, 1 customer. That night, Kofi couldn't sleep. The next week, he used all his savings, money he had hidden in a cracked plastic container, and rented a tiny wooden kiosk near the main road. He bought 1 old charcoal oven from a mechanic, 1 mixing bowl, and second-hand baking trays. Nothing was perfect, but it was his. He wrote a handwritten sign, "Kofi's Fresh Bread, soft, sweet, and affordable." He opened the shop with hope burning in his chest. He expected customers to return again and again if he baked well, so he woke at 4 a.m. daily, mixed flour gently, kneaded with patience, and baked with love. In the first week, a few people came, mostly neighbors. They praised his bread. "This bread is soft too. Kofi, you are talented. I will come back again." Their words warmed his heart. But 3 weeks passed, none returned. He waited every day, from sunrise to sunset. But new customers seldom came, and old customers enjoyed his bread so much that they didn't buy again for a long time. People said proudly, "It is still fresh after 2 days. My children haven't finished it yet. This bread lasts long." They said it as a compliment. But to Kofi, it was becoming a serious problem. His bread stayed soft for long, but his shop stayed empty. Rent was counting. His mother needed money. His sisters needed fees. And each day, the cost of flour increased. One cold evening, he sat alone on a wooden stool, resting his head on the table. Fear entered his heart for the first time. What if I fail? What if people never come back soon enough? That was when he remembered something an old baker had once said: "Return customers keep a business alive." Those words kept him awake all night. One afternoon, he visited a local provision shop to buy ingredients. 2 bakers were chatting loudly. "My customers buy bread every 2 days, oh," one bragged. The other laughed. "Of course, your bread gets hard quickly." Kofi paused, his heart squeezed. Is this why my customers don't return fast? Because my bread stays soft too long? That evening, he sat in his shop staring at his ingredients. He remembered something from Auntie Efua's storeroom, a preservative powder she rarely used because she said this can upset someone's stomach if not used correctly. The idea entered his mind slowly, not as evil, but as survival. If my bread gets harder sooner, people will return faster.
I'm not harming them. I'm only trying to survive.
He bought a small amount of the powder, something the seller whispered was just a bakery enhancer. But Kofi knew it behaved more like a quiet medicine that made people's bodies crave whatever it touched, and he mixed a tiny pinch into the flour, his hands trembling as he kneaded the dough while pretending he wasn't doing something dangerous. The next morning, customers bought bread as usual. He acted normal, pretending everything was fine, and nothing happened for 2 days. But on the third day, a woman rushed in, clutching her stomach, saying, "Kofi, please, my children complained after eating the bread. Their stomach hurts." And another man came that evening saying, "My belly has been turning me since morning. Please check your ingredients." Yet, they weren't angry. They didn't suspect anything. They simply begged for help, while an uncomfortable truth pulsed in Kofi's chest. The powder wasn't just strong, it was addictive, making people return without understanding why. Kofi apologized gently, offered them fresh bread, and gave excuses like, "Sometimes flour from the market is too strong," or "maybe the water changed taste." And 3 days later, they returned again. And they bought more bread because, despite the discomfort, Kofi's bread tasted unusually amazing in a way that tugged at the body. And very soon, other customers followed. And within 1 month, Kofi's bakery became the busiest in Berikuso, as people returned quickly, sometimes after just 1 day, because the bread hardened fast or caused slight stomach rumbling, but also because something in their bodies quietly pulled them back, though they didn't suspect him, and believed it was stress, hunger, or weather, while Kofi smiled gently and said, "Let me give you a fresh one. This one will be better." As his income tripled and he bought new signs, repainted his shop in bright yellow, purchased a bigger charcoal oven, a new mixer, and branded nylon bags. While people said, "Kofi is hardworking, Kofi is caring, Kofi always helps us when bread spoils," and he enjoyed the praise too much, because success made him confident, and confidence made him greedy, and he told himself, if a little powder brings many customers, more powder will bring even faster results. So he experimented, a pinch today, a spoon tomorrow, a handful the next week, mixing things meant for longer shelf life and not for human stomachs, convincing himself nothing bad would happen, even though something was already happening. There was one calm man named Kwabena, a teacher who seldom talked. He bought bread once, praised it, and left. 3 days later, he returned, touching his stomach. "My belly is reacting. Please check the bread." Kofi acted surprised, but Kwabena's eyes studied him quietly. He noticed how Kofi remained too calm, too prepared, too expectant, like he already knew why the man returned. Kwabena said nothing, but he went home thinking deeply. 2 days later, he spoke to a neighbor. "Since I ate Kofi's bread, my stomach has been strange." The neighbor replied instantly, "Same here." That was the confirmation Kwabena needed. He didn't shout, he didn't accuse, he didn't threaten. He only said, "Let's go together. I want to see something." They went to Kofi's bakery at noon. Kwabena pretended he wanted to buy fresh bread. The neighbor acted like a new customer. They watched Kofi closely. He mixed dough. He shaped the bread. He chatted, laughed, and sang lightly. But when the bread was ready, he stepped aside, opened a wooden drawer, and brought out a small, unlabeled container. Kwabena's heart dropped. He waited. When Kofi picked his spoon and moved toward the mixing bowl, Kwabena stood up. "Stop! What is inside that container?" The bakery went silent. Kofi froze. His hands shook. His smile collapsed. Kwabena stepped closer. "Why is it not labeled? Why do you hide it? And why is your stomach never upset?" 2 more customers outside overheard and rushed in. "What is happening? What is inside the powder? If it is harmless, taste it yourself." Within minutes, the whole street gathered. Voices rose. People shouted. Children cried. Someone screamed, "Call the police!" Kofi held the container to his chest, trembling. Then he broke. "I'm sorry," he cried. "I didn't mean to harm anyone. I was only trying to survive." Anger erupted everywhere. People felt betrayed. Mothers cried. Fathers shouted. A young nurse leaned in and said, "Your greed could have killed someone." Police arrived and arrested him. At the station, Kofi sat pale and broken. He explained everything: his poverty, his pressure, his fear, his decision, his regret. The officer shook his head slowly. "You wanted success, but your method was dangerous. Shortcuts in food business can destroy lives." Later, his mother arrived, crying. "Kofi, why didn't you tell me we were suffering? We would have managed somehow." Her tears hurt him more than the arrest. The next day, Auntie Efua, his former boss, walked in. She looked disappointed but calm. "Kofi," she said softly, "what did you do?" He cried. "You wouldn't let me learn. I waited for years. I struggled. I only wanted to survive." Auntie Efua shook her head slowly. "Kofi, survival without honesty becomes destruction." Real bakers protect people. You forgot the purpose of bread: to feed, not to hurt. Her words pierced his heart. Community leaders intervened. Victims agreed to settle, and he was released, but his reputation was finished. His bakery keys were returned to him, but that shop was no longer his pride. It was his shame. He sat on the floor for hours, staring at the empty shelves. For 1 week, he didn't open. He cried. He prayed. He cleaned. He threw away all secret, unlabeled containers. He bought fresh ingredients. He wrote a note and taped to the wall: "No shortcuts again. If success takes time, I will still wait." 2 days later, he opened quietly. People passed and shook their heads. Some insulted him. Others avoided eye contact. But one old woman eventually entered. She placed money on the counter and said,
I believe in second chances.
"Make me small bread." Kofi's eyes filled with tears. He baked with honesty, slowly, gently, carefully, without powder, without tricks. By the end of the month, a few old customers returned. Not many, not fast, but the ones who came trusted him again, and that was enough to rebuild. When your talent is true, patience will reward you. Success built on shortcuts may rise fast, but it collapses even faster. Greed destroys reputation, but honesty builds legacy. Slow success with peace is better than fast success with regret.
My friend, if this story touched your heart, support me by liking, commenting, and subscribing. Your one click is a blessing.